Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to week 2. We're almost halfway through the mod. Okay, so first things first, let's run through the announcements. Remember, we're using Adobe Animate 2018 for this class. If you're not updated, please review the announcement about upgrading and let me know. Weeks 1 grades have been posted. Please review the feedback, make any suggested changes, resubmit. This will give you both practice as well as a chance at a higher grade. The new policy that I've made, if your initial post is, if I can tell that it's over 20%, I'll nail it and I'll send you a message about it. And remember, this is a 300 level class. Initial discussion post needs at least 250 words and at least 2 references. Remember that the APA format of the references is no longer needed. So you can just put the link to the references, or you can put however you want to do that, as long as you put the references in there. And your initial post is due by Wednesday unless otherwise discussed with me. A reply to your peers does not count as your initial post. Remember that. All right, that being said, let's go ahead and move into this week's class stuff. All right, so week 2. Define and understand the importance of creating a good UI for desktop and mobile devices. Create and execute original artwork pertaining to a self-promotional piece. The discussion for this week. Understanding the needs of your target audience is paramount. People no longer rely on their desktop computers or laptop to surf the web to research and find information. The trend is creating content that is not only well laid out on a larger monitor, but to make it have a good UI and a good user experience. So a good user interface and a good user experience on mobile devices as well. As designers, our job isn't to just create stunning graphics for print and websites, but to incorporate our design and achieve a good UX and UI on mobile devices. For the first part of this discussion, so it's in 2 parts, research and write a minimum of 100 words with a minimum of 2 citations about best practices of creating content for mobile devices that are not only creative, but employ good UX and UI. You can also use ProQuest or Shark if you want. Be sure not to copy and paste more than 20% of your initial summary from the citations. A minimum of 80% must be in your own words. For the second part of the discussion, explain how your layout for your mobile devices achieves a good UX and UI. Be specific on why you did what you did. Share your thought process. Include your storyboard for your desktop and mobile versions to show how you solved the issues with dealing with viewing on a smaller device. Example, insert your final version of your written concept from week 1's assignment. Embed images of storyboards as JPEGs or PNG. Do not link a PDF. Write your thought process and how you resolved your layout to achieve good UX and UI on the mobile device, minimum of 50 words. Remember, you need at least 250 words. So the first part has to be at least 200 words. There's a mistake on that one. So I'm not allowed to change it, but I could also mention it. So remember, at least 250 words. As you can see. The assignment. Okay, this week, you'll set up your 2 documents for each prospective resolutions and begin to create your assets and import the existing assets you may be using. Be sure to create your own original art for any buttons, graphics, etc. This is a self-promotional piece. So using clip art or any free stock images wouldn't be a good choice. Anytime you represent yourself to obtain work using someone else's work, even if you paid for it or it was distributed royalty-free, should be avoided at all costs. You're selling your talent as a designer. You can draw your assets in Illustrator, Photoshop, or Animate CC. But be sure to save them in the correct format required for animating. Your Animate CC, formerly Flash, document can be set up as an HTML5, and that's what we're doing. Remember, all of it needs to be HTML5 canvas and not ActionScript 3. Arrange all the assets in the initial composition that you determined in your storyboard. For assets that are hidden off the stage that will be viewable when the user interacts with your infographic can be placed off the stage or have them in your library. Animation for this phase isn't necessary. Okay, so you're creating the document, placing the graphics in it, but you are not being graded on animating it this week. And I'll go over that later as well. And the assessment's a quiz. Make sure that you review everything before you do the quiz. All right, that being said, that's going to pull us into starting to work on this week. So, what I'm going to do tonight, we're going to create a new one. Okay, so let's bring up Animate and HTML5 canvas. And we're going to go ahead and make it 1200 by 800. And let's go ahead. And we're going to use a light brown. All right, so now we have that set up. There's our base, okay? Let's go back to the timeline. Now I'm going to create a background. All right, so for this background, it's going to be always visible. I'm going to make it a table, all right? And I'm going to kind of make it like we're looking at an angle. So let's go ahead and build the top, and we'll build it, and then I'll put the colors on it. That's a little large, so let's shrink that down. All right, so now we can make that a little bit larger. There we go. And now I need to make 2 legs. 3 legs, actually. And to make sure that we could tell that they're legs, well, the first thing is we're going to delete the corner, but I need to add a point first. So we're going to put a point here. And then now I can delete it. There we go. Turn it. And let's change the color of that really quick to kind of a silver. No. Good evening, Jesse. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, perfect. Well, you caught me just in the middle of starting to make a table.
Okay.
And you know, now I'm going to take that one, copy it again. It'll come down here, but because it's so low, it's at the front, a 3D version will look a little shorter. All right, now I'll need a leg on this side right here, right? So Command C, V, and then we're going to switch it. We'll leave that there. Now, if I'm putting the leg over here, what do I need to make the change of to make it work?
If it's supposed to look 3D, maybe skew it a little bit to the side.
Okay, but it will, whoa, that's not what I need to do. Okay, now if I take this and move it here, that's exactly what I need right there. So it's already skewed. It's got to be at the same angles because we're looking almost at a 45-degree angle at this table. But this needs to be on top of it. So what I'm going to do is, right now, can I use my order and bring that to the front?
You mean to arrange?
Yep.
Yeah, should be able to.
Okay. Nope.
No?
Remember,
Okay.
these are shapes. You can't do that with shapes. You have to do it with symbols or graphics.
Okay.
So to do this, an easy way to do this would be, well, bring this over, and now basically I need to take this part off, right?
Right.
So what we're going to do, let's take that over just a little. I'm going to add one right there. Oops. Zoom in to 400%. Okay, so we're going to add one right there and there. It's a little bit off. How can I make a straight line here by doing that? What's the easiest way?
Hold the shift down as you go over.
Okay, but I'm adding a point.
Oh.
So if I hold the shift.
Put a line on top of it as a guide?
Okay, there's an easier way to do it.
Not that I can think of.
Rulers.
Oh, that'll work.
And drag that down. Whoa. Now notice it's having a hard time going where I want it. Why is that?
It's snapping to something.
It's snapping. So let's go back to view. Okay, guidelines, lock guides, edit guides, snapping. There we go. It's all snapped. So we'll turn all the snapping off. By the way, we're making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich tonight. Because it's an infographic, right? So I'm going to walk somebody through making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. All right, so now I want to add a point right there. Okay, it's not letting me. Why? You know why?
Are you on the right part of the pen tool?
I am. See?
Is it trying to go onto the guide?
It is.
Okay.
So what I can do, let's go up just a little. Now notice how far up I am. Okay, so this is guesstimating. Well, now we come over here. Let's show the grid. Notice that the grid almost right there. Let's take it down. Now the grid is right there. So there's two ways you could do it there. You can use the grid, or you can use the rulers, the guides, right? So let's see. Now we want to take this one off. And there we have it. So now I just take that and move it back. So let's go back out to the view. Now it looks like a table, right?
Yep.
A little bit off. All right, there we go. Now it looks like a table. Except this one's not as wide, but that's okay because of the angle we're at, right? No, it needs to actually be a little bit wider because these two are going to be about the same size. And there we go. See the difference?
Yeah.
All right, now, so there we have it. So what I'm going to do is view the rulers. I don't need them now, and I don't need the guides. And I don't need the grid. All right, so there we have it. I don't like this color, though, for a table. So what we're going to do, let's make the table a little bit darker. There we go. What do you think? Looks like a table?
Looks good to me.
Okay, so this is now the table. All right, so we're going to be making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. What is step one of a peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
Bread.
Okay. Well, now I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to lock that in new layer. And we're going to make the bread. Notice how hard that is to see. So we need a bright color, right? So let's go to a brighter color. There we go. Add it. There we go. Ah, come on. Down. Need that just a little. And we're starting to get our bread, right?
Yeah.
All right, now what I want to do is we're going to come back up to here first. Go to here. All right, there we go. And because of that, we can also round this a little. So what we're going to do is we're going to track that, grab the convert, all right. All right, now we're going to make this one piece of bread. We're going to copy that, transform, and can I do the copy, or do I actually have to copy it and then do the horizontal? Flip. You know what I'm talking about on the copy?
Yeah, I think.
Okay, so if I do
Like I
here,
know how I do that in Illustrator, but I don't know if it translates to animate.
it doesn't. So what we
Okay.
have to do is copy, paste. Then we transform and we reflect horizontal. And that's a weird piece of bread.
Yeah.
So what we can do is we could shrink that down just a little bit. And it's going to be still a little strange, but not as bad as it was. Now it looks like a piece of bread my 6-year-old carried the bag up. All right, so we're going to fill that with a color. Now, see, let's use that color for the outside. For the inside. And it didn't do it because they're not connected, right? So what do I do to make this so those are connected?
I guess join doesn't work here.
Okay, where would join be?
I don't know.
Refresh. Doing a refresh here. View, let's see, insert, edit. There's no join there. Modify. There we're transform. Range alone. There isn't one. So what we have to do, like this, and we're going to go to 400% again. All right, you can see here, it's a little long here. So we can take that back to here. And that back to there. And we'll come up here. And there we have it. Now, we'll take this. And it still doesn't do it. All right. We talked about this last week and we talked about it last mod. Easiest way then is what? Well, let's go ahead and we're going to go back to Illustrator. So it's going to be 8.5, 11. All right, so now we have this. Now, just a little curve. A little curve down. Little curve. All right, now that's going to be a really short piece of bread, right?
Yeah.
So, how do we lengthen that?
Just move the points over.
Okay. I'm back in Illustrator now, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, how would I move the points?
It's What is it? The shortcut is A to grab the point and just move it over.
Okay, I'm holding the A.
Oh, you just tap it. Tap on A. And then click on the point you want to move and then just move it over.
Okay, that's what I'm doing. Look at the tool I used.
No, you're on V. You need to be on A.
I did that. I did A.
Yeah. You click on the point
Mm-hmm.
and then just click and drag. You're grabbing the whole thing instead of that one point. Click on the point.
Oh, so like that.
Yeah.
Good. Now, this is the reason I'm going through this is because a lot of people don't know that. And so I'm basically using some of your knowledge to help them.
Okay.
Okay, now notice, though, this is going to be really down. So we'll do the same thing. Move it up just a little. All right. Now we can do the control, transform, reflect. And this is something I really would love someday for them to add. That looks like a piece of bread. Now, I just go to Object, Path Join, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Now, I want to make the outline. Let's click here. There we go. Now the outline, we want a little bit thicker. We're going to play with the caps and the corners. One stroke. Oh, it looks pretty good. What do you think? That looks like a piece of bread, right?
Yeah.
We're going to copy it. Command C, come over here. Command V. Okay, and there we have our bread. All right, now, the thing is, I can also, by going inside of it, edit that object. So I can even make the border a little thicker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a look. It's not allowing me to. Why not? Remember, when you bring it over.
Bring it over from Illustrator.
Uh-huh.
So you need to edit it in Illustrator and then bring it over.
Correct. All right, but I like that. I'm not going to actually need to do that. That was just one of those, okay, how's this come across? All right, so now I'm starting off, whoa. There we go. So let's shrink that down. Now I need two of these. All right, so there's my two pieces of bread, right?
Yep.
All right, now what I want to do, though, is the bread is going to start over here. I'm going to make each one a separate symbol. So, convert to symbol. Left bread. Not a button, but a graphic. All right, now I'm going to make this one into one. Right. Bread. All right, now we've got two of them here, and they're both different symbols. So what I'm going to do is copy and then put this one. This is left bread. Now, I just did this the long way. What is the shortcut to do this? What's the short way of doing that? What I just did.
I missed what you did.
I copied it. I made one, deleted it, copied, made another layer. Okay, so I'm right here.
Uh-huh.
All right. Make sure that I have my symbols. Yep, I do. Okay, so what I did, just named this left bread. Created a new one. Right, underscore, come on. There we go. Right, red. But I took this, because this is my right, copied it, deleted it, and I locked that layer, came up to this one, right click, paste in place. All right, what's the easier way to do that?
I don't know. I'm drawing a blank here.
Okay, so let's go back. Right here. Let's keep going back. All right, so now we have just these two, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. I know. Well,
If they're identical, do we need two separate symbols and layers?
yes, we do.
Okay.
Because I'm going to have them do different things. Well, we don't have to, but in some cases it might be easier to do that. But, okay, so the first thing, well, take a look here. Distribute to layers. So now we have left bread, this one, and the one that was original, which is empty now. And notice, because of the symbol names, it renamed them for me. Much quicker. All right, so there we have that. Now we're going to go out to 20, or so we're going to insert frame. All right, now, but the first thing I want to do is I'm going to take these, move them over one, so this is now blank. All right. But I want the table, so we're going to remove that one there. Notice that takes one out here, so I just go out and insert frame, right? There we go, piece of cake. So the table starts there. All right, so first things first, we need to start it. When you're making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, what's the first thing you do?
Get everything out?
Mm-hmm. All right, so, but we're going to start with it already out on the table. Now, well, that means I need to do what? Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to make a new layer. Call it the jelly layer.
Okay.
All right, so we make the jar and border. Now we can make the border what we want. Okay. Now, what type of jelly do you like?
I like all kinds of jelly.
Okay, pick one.
Strawberry.
Figured that's what it would be. Most people do that. All right, so then for the center, we now want it red. The jar, well, what color should we make the jar?
Most jars are clear. Maybe a white label.
Okay, but there is still a border around it, right?
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to make this a red jar. But that blends in. How do you get that red to blend in? Not so it's not blending in with the jelly.
Make it a different shade.
Exactly. So we come over here and we're going to grab, there we go, just enough of a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next. Well, next we're going to create the jar. Now notice that's not white enough, so all we have to do what we're going to do is we're going to copy this, delete it. Now, now we get the whole thing. Come on, I want to move. There. Oh, come on. The whole thing. There we go. All right, so now we're going to paste this so it's on top. Just a little bit wider. All right, does that look kind of like a jar?
Kind of. Maybe.
Barely. But for our purposes here, that's going to work. All right, so this is now the jelly jar. Let's make it a little bit larger. All right, and let's make a label. For the label, let's outline it in black, fill it with white. Ah, all right, so how do I avoid that issue? Well, first off, I want that issue later, but not yet. So I make this label down here separately. Okay, it's not as wide, not as tall, perfect. Fits right there quite nicely, right?
Yeah.
All right, so there's our label. Normally this label, we'd take the time and actually fit its shape to the jar. It's likely due to the jelly. And there's our jar. Perfect. Okay, so now it's Strawberry, strawberry. Jelly. And that's not going to work. But what a lot of people will do, because it's strawberry, well, we're going to go over here and make it red. Okay, that doesn't quite fit, so we're going to shrink it down. But notice, because of that, it shrinks everything. So what we've got to do is come over here, take that down, back over, almost. Now, you notice it's not curved with the jar. How do I make it curved? Do you remember?
It's not what now? Oh, the text?
Yep.
Not here.
Okay, so that's when I'm
I
going to
guess I'm a fan of doing things the hard way. I just make it a symbol in Illustrator and curve it that way.
Okay, that's what I would do too.
Okay.
But now that we're in here, well, what can we do to it? Let's take a look what we have over here. Spacing, Arial Black style. There are no tools for that, right?
Doesn't look like it.
There's not. So we could break it apart. There's add color, glow, blur. See, we can even add a blur, glow to it. To make it stand out that much more. And we can even take it down. So it's just enough to see it, but not. But there is no way here to curve it, okay? All right, so now we have our jelly. So we're gonna make that a symbol. What type of symbol do you think that would be?
What, the whole jar with the label?
Yeah, what should we make it? What type of symbol?
A graphic.
Okay, why?
Because it's not going to have an animation of its own, so there's no need to make it a movie clip. And we're not going to click on it, so no need to make it a button.
Exactly. So graphic. Okay, so the jelly's done. And it's going to start there in frame 1. Okay. So we don't need this. I'm going to take it back to there. Really. All right, so now we're there. Next, we need peanut butter, right? What's an easy way to do the peanut butter?
Same concept as the jelly, really. Just a brown bottle instead of a red one.
Okay, so we go all the way in, Command C. Then you go all the way back out. And now we can lock those. In fact, we can turn those off temporarily. And now we're going to add another layer. Peanut butter. Same thing. It doesn't need to go there. We can take those out. Here. And we're going to paste. Notice it's not letting me paste. Why not?
Because you're on a locked layer?
Nope, I was on the right layer.
Okay.
It wouldn't let me paste, but I did the Command V to get around that.
Oh, okay.
All right, so now let's click here. Peanut butter. All right, so we're going to leave that the way it is. This, well, peanut butter's what color?
Brown.
So, here. Or there.
That's green.
Okay. How about here? That works?
Still green.
Okay. So where's the brown? Right there? That's green. So how would we get brown?
down there near the reds, between red and orange. Like straight down on that row.
Over here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Looks brown to me.
So which one's the more brown for peanut butter? That one? Which one do you think's the best brown for peanut butter?
Over that one right there. No, up one. Sorry. I'm being indecisive now. That works, I think.
Okay. So now we're going to do that to this one. And then the border needs to be a lighter one, right?
Yeah.
What do you think? Peanut butter?
Looks okay.
All right, so now we're going to right click, convert symbol. Peanut butter. All right, so we're going to turn all these back on. We've got our peanut butter. We've got our jelly. What are we missing?
Bread.
Okay, so bread.
We've already made the bread, right?
Well, we just made slices.
Ah.
So how would you make one that's the bag, the loaf?
Just like a long brownish shape.
Okay, well, let's go back to Illustrator really quick.
Yeah.
This is single, right?
Yep.
Right, so the side is still going to be shaped like a loaf. So what we're going to do is start here, go over. Actually, we're going to start here. Okay. And I goofed there, didn't I?
Well, yeah, you're...
Okay, so what I can do,
maybe not. I don't know.
Okay, let's go to the middle.
Okay.
So that means what I want to do is put a middle mark right there. Then I'm going to take this and delete. And these look very similar, don't they?
Yes, they do.
They're going to, because that is a loaf of bread. Side slice from the front, and then you look at it from the side. Most of them look similar, don't they?
Yeah, fairly similar.
Or how's the side loaf of bread look? So let's reflect it, copy it. Now what we're going to do is object, path, join. Let's go over here. LOAF. On, so we're going to go back to here. Command V. Okay. So here's my loaf of bread. Well, that's the color we made the others, right?
Yep.
But this is the outside of it, not the inside. So we need a different color for it, right?
Yeah, it needs to be like a tan.
Okay.
Just a shade lighter than the peanut butter was.
So let's go to here. And, well, how do we get to there? There's that. So that one? What do you think?
I don't know. It looks kind of green with you selecting it. Yeah, that still looks green.
Looks green. So let's go back. That one?
Still green.
Okay. You realize we're using the same ones we used before.
Yeah. So maybe just over to the left a little bit. And one up. It's too dark.
Actually, that's about right for a loaf of bread.
Yeah? Okay.
So now what we're going to do, we're going to shrink it down. Make it look more loafish. There. Does that look more loafish?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so now we're going to right click, convert to symbol. Loaf.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Now we're going to right click, convert to symbol. LOAF. There we go. Now we got the whole thing. No, and I still missed it. Let's highlight it that way. There we go. There we go. Right click, convert to symbol. There we go. Now we've got it. And we can move that to there. All right, so now we have the peanut butter, the jelly, and the loaf of bread. So next we need the knife. All right, so this is the loaf. So next we need the knife. New layer. Knife. All right, so now we build a knife. Okay, so the color of a knife is going to be silver or gold, yeah. And then the border will be like a darker silver. Go here, here, curve the knife. Curve it. Go to here. there's our knife. Now we'll fill it. All right, so now we have our knife. In fact, we're going to go ahead and draw the line right here. Whoa. And put a little curve here too. And there we go. There's our knife. So we'll highlight the knife, click, convert to symbol, knife. All right, so now we have our knife, peanut butter, jelly, and our bread. So next we need, what we're going to do is click on each item and it's going to move to the table. But how do we make it do that? So we're going to choose which one to click on. Well, before we do this, we're going to move this to there. And we're going to take the table, make the table one object, because I haven't done that yet. So we're going to make it a table, convert to symbol, T-A-B-L-E. Now we have our table as one symbol. There we go. All right. So next, did you make it back yet? Okay. All right. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to basically, for now, click on these in order. Welcome back.
Thanks.
Yep. All right. So when you make your peanut butter and jelly, what's the first thing you put on the table?
The bread or a plate.
Uh-huh. Remember. Okay. And what exactly is an infographic?
It can be many things. In this case, it's detailing a process.
All right. Now, when we detail a process, we have to go from step to step to step, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're going to have to remember as we're doing this. We forgot a plate. All right. So now, now we're going to draw a plate.
That one's easy compared to what we've been doing.
All right, so for a plate, let's see. Let's fill the plate. Let's make it a cool color.
It's a really good looking knife.
Thank you. And the border, since I use that blue, let's go ahead and use that one there for the border. Okay, so a plate, there's one. And let's copy that because you'll see. And the second part of the plate. Now we're going to paste in the center and then just move it up. What do you think? How does that look for a plate?
I'd make the center circle bigger, but looks good.
Okay, you want it bigger? We could do that.
That's just me being nitpicky.
Oh, that's fine. How about there?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, now when you're explaining a step-by-step procedure to somebody, do you realize we're skipping a lot of steps here just going this far, right?
We are?
We did. Somebody that's never made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, you're going to tell them to grab the peanut butter, right?
Yeah.
Where's the peanut butter?
Wherever they keep it in their house.
Uh-huh. So step
We don't
one.
know what their house is.
Ah. But if you're explaining it, most people keep it either in one of two places, a cupboard or the fridge. So step one, take the peanut butter from the cupboard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Step two, grab the jelly from the fridge.
Okay.
Step three, grab a knife. Step four, grab a plate, which now let's go ahead and we're going to make the plate a symbol. All right. So let's go ahead and we're going to bring Word up because for this next step, we're going to need it. Now, before we go any further, you're on the East Coast. Since you're pretty much the one that comes to class, I'm going to give you an option for tomorrow. I have to reschedule tomorrow night's class.
Okay.
What time would work better for you?
I'm actually okay at the time it's at.
Okay, I have to reschedule it though.
Oh. Earlier or later?
Earlier, or I could do later.
Well, if it's later, I wouldn't be able to take it, so I guess that's a moot point.
Okay. So, how about 3 o'clock in the afternoon my time? That's 5 yours.
Where do you live?
I live mountain time. I live in Idaho.
Yeah, so do I.
Why did I think you were Eastern?
I have no idea. Maybe the other guy's Eastern time.
Okay. How about 3 o'clock in the afternoon?
That's too early for me.
Okay.
4 o'clock would work, though.
4 wouldn't, because I have to be somewhere at 6. That's the problem.
Okay. Well, if you want to do 3 o'clock, I'll just have to miss the beginning of my class of the class.
Okay. Then I'll do it from 3 to 5 tomorrow.
Okay.
So everybody, I will be sending out an email and an announcement on that. All right, so let's bring up the blank document. Have you ever done one of these projects? Have you ever done it where whoops. Oh, before we go further, and this is important to know, and I think I brought it up last class. What's the difference between Times and Times New Roman?
Not sure if you did bring that up.
Okay. Watch. See that there's a little change, right? See the change? It was very slight. Watch the text. Are you watching it close? Here, let's do
Yep.
this.
I'm watching it.
Let's do this to make it even a little easier to see. Okay, one more time.
That is very slight.
Very slight. Well, what happened was Times is Apple's version of Times New Roman. The kerning and the size of the lines are slightly different. That's it. It's the same size, it's the same shape, same font. But because Apple wanted their own, they changed the kerning and the font and the lines just a little. Okay, so that being said, now let's go back to, there we go. All right, so to make a PB&J sandwich. we're going to make this look good. Because this is our list, right? This is a list, how to do it step by step. So, 1. What do we do?
For the super detailed list?
Yep.
Step 1, buy peanut butter, jelly, and bread.
Okay, we've got it in the house already.
Oh, okay.
No, but you're right. That was actually a really good thought. Have you ever done an exercise like this where you're going to try to explain to somebody how to do something?
Not really.
This is going to be fun then. All right, so, and this is what we do when we create an infographic. Okay, and you know what? Let's go ahead and make it a PB&J sandwich instead of BB&J. Butter. All right, so step 1, go into the kitchen, right?
Yep.
Step 2,
Retrieve peanut butter and bread from pantry.
now you got to separate these, and you'll see why. Here in a second. Because if you're dealing with somebody who doesn't know, you just told them to get you don't even know where they store their bread. You told them to get it from the pantry.
Yeah.
Now, what if it's not in the pantry? They're going to be looking around in the pantry, right?
Okay.
Do you see that? How that you have to break it down even more?
Okay.
You were right at the very beginning when you said go to the store to buy the stuff. But now we're at the step ahead of that. Now we're getting it. It's in the house. Okay.
All right.
So you broke it down really far, but then you went and skipped a step because you're not sure where they store it. For example, I don't store mine in the pantry.
Oh.
We actually store our bread in the fridge here.
Yeah. Okay.
So it would depend on the individual, right?
Right.
So you're going to tell them to get out the peanut butter, get out the bread, then get out the jelly. Then what?
Plate and knife.
Okay.
Are those separate steps also?
They are.
Okay.
Because usually the silverware is either in a drawer or a container on the counter, right?
Right.
Plate's not there. So they'll be looking in that spot. This is somebody who doesn't know anything.
Okay.
All right, next. Now, what's the next step?
Now take 2 slices of bread and put them on a plate.
You got to do one step before that. See how this does it?
Yeah.
Okay. Next.
Open the peanut butter. I put the peanut butter on first.
Okay. Then what?
Take your knife. Or pick up the knife.
Next.
Get some peanut butter out of the jar on the knife.
How would you do that?
Stick the knife into the peanut butter.
Mm-hmm.
This person has never spread anything with a butter knife.
Nope. Okay, the
This
reason
is
that
a
we
very
break
sheltered existence this person has led up to this point.
it is, but okay. You're seeing all the steps it takes, right?
Yes.
And you're right. This is breaking it down to the simplest to somebody that has lived a sheltered life. What this does is this exercise gives you practice how to teach somebody to do something step by step by step. Because something you've done over and over and over, do you realize you're assuming already some of these other steps that you skipped, like this one?
Mm-hmm.
Stick knife into peanut butter. Scoop peanut butter onto knife. Then what?
Spread the peanut butter over one slice of bread.
Peanut butter onto one slice of bread. Okay?
Scrape excess peanut butter off in the peanut butter jar.
Yep. Can you hold 1 second? I'll be
Yes.
right back. Sorry. I hate to do this.
You're fine. I did it to you. Hi, cat.
Okay. Sorry about that. Switched our phones from Sprint today over to T-Mobile, and that was T-Mobile, and I'm like, okay, they'll call me back in an hour. All right, so what we're practicing here, like I was saying, is when you make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, you do it basically step by step without even thinking, right?
Yep.
So now I'm making you think about how you do it step by step. And you started to leave those little details out, but somebody that doesn't know it. What this does is this type of thing gives you practice in the bigger world. When you're dealing with a client, you have to walk them through something step by step, right?
Right.
That's kind of what an infographic's going to do, especially one building a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So next, what we want to do, we've spread the peanut butter on a slice of bread. What's next?
Scrape off the excess peanut butter.
Okay.
If there's any on the knife.
Okay. Next.
Stick knife into jelly.
How'd you stick the knife into jelly?
The same way you stuck it into the peanut butter.
Before you do that,
Oh, open jelly.
open the jelly.
Right.
Then you can do that. Okay. Next.
You stuck it into the peanut butter again.
Whoops. Yeah, that's going to help, isn't it? Okay.
Scoop jelly on the knife.
Okay, then.
Then spread the jelly onto the other slice of bread.
Okay. Next.
Scrape off excess jelly.
Now, where are you scraping these?
Back into the jar.
Okay. Next.
Put the bread with the jelly on top of the bread with the peanut butter.
See why that's important?
Yes.
Okay. Next.
Eat sandwich.
Before that.
Before that. Put away the bread and peanut butter and jelly.
Before that.
Before that. Okay. Storage location.
Yeah. Next.
Close bread.
Next.
Put the knife in with dirty dishes wherever they are kept.
Now, you could even go further and explain this, but we're not going to.
Well, for one thing, we didn't pick it up.
Exactly. And that's exactly right. You just caught something that we missed.
Nah,
You need to pick it up.
I didn't mean to.
Well, that's fine, but that should have been done. We
Yeah.
should do that. So,
So all of these steps are going into your infographic.
kinda.
Kinda.
This is an example. If we don't have the time here in class to do all these today.
Right.
But now we're going to take this though, and we're going to place it over here at the side. All right. All right. Now, for sake here, I've already opened up the peanut butter. All right.
Right.
Now, let's go back here to the very beginning. All right. So go into kitchen. We're in the kitchen. Get out the peanut butter. We have the peanut butter. The bread. We have the bread. Jelly. We have the jelly. Plate and knife. Now we open the bread. It's demonstrating open that. But before we do it, do you see a step that's missing?
No.
All that should be placed onto the table.
Okay.
As you got them all out, you have to place them on the table.
Okay.
But, so from this point, what we're going to do is I'm going to now, we're going to make this a button. We're going to create a button. All right.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttons to begin with. All right. The initial buttons. All right, so I'm going to just basically make this easier to do. So 1. Okay. Two. And this is just rough so that we can get onto the next steps.
Right.
3. 4. All right, so they're not going to quite fit there, but we will make them. And 5. All right, so now we have our buttons, right? So we're going to right click, convert to symbol, button 1. Symbol, button 2. Button 3. symbol. Have you ever gone through any supervisory courses?
Supervisory courses?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, that's one of the things that they love to do is something like this type of a scenario.
Okay.
So, because if you can't explain how to do the steps properly, people are going to miss a step, right?
Right.
That's what that idea comes to. So, what we're going to do now. All right. Everything here is in place 1 or frame 1. So what we need to do is I'm going to make it so if I click 1, the knife goes over, 2 or whatever, based on this.
Okay.
So the peanut butter will be number 1, right?
Yep.
All right, so what we're going to do is the peanut butter. Right click. And then right here, what we have to actually do is we're going to click it so it goes to here. All right. So the peanut butter, when we go to here, when I click the peanut butter, I'll click 1, peanut butter moves over. Okay.
Okay.
Now, do you remember how we were talking about if you didn't plan this out step by step through storyboards, you might run into a problem which step should come next or where things are laid out. Frame amounts, the number of frames, right?
Right.
Well, guess what? We didn't do that, did we?
No, we did not.
Okay, so now we have to make up for that. All right, so if I click there, ooh, well, the bread's there already. Not good. So what we're going to do is move the bread down to here just for now, okay? So the bread's not visible. But the peanut butter is going to go from here to there when I click 1. So at this point, now, well, there's a couple ways we could do this. We could just have it so I click it, it goes to the next frame and suddenly sitting there. But it's an animation, right? So let's have some fun with that. So right here, we're going to right click, insert frame. All right, so the peanut butter, what we're going to do, because it is a because it's a symbol already, and we're going to right click. Well, this one will let me do a classic tween. So from here to there, that peanut butter, whoops, let's unlock it. Peanut butter is going to fly to here. So, boom. Right?
Yeah.
Well, that's really fast. So we're going to slow that down just a little. There. Now watch. Now you can actually see it go. Right? You saw it move.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and we're going to add more frames.
That'd probably be better.
Mm-hmm. Now you actually see it.
Yeah.
But we need to stop. So to add a stop, now I go to the code snippets. We're in Canvas, right? HTML5 Canvas. Make sure you're in here. Actions, And actually, we want timeline navigation. Stop at this frame. All right, so now we have the stop. So this is what we have. We're going to run it. And it stops. All right. Now, I don't want it to move yet. So to do that, what I have to do is add a stop there as well, right? So another code snippet, stop at this frame. Notice now I have frame 1, there's code. Frame 10, there's code. Frame 1, it stops. Frame 10, it stops. Well, this is what we get. Nothing's going to happen because now it's frozen at frame 1.
So if you click the first button, will it send it over?
Not yet.
Oh.
Now we need to tie it to that. All right, so to do this, what we have to do, we're going to go to button 1. So we click on button 1. And what we're going to have it do is go to the next frame and play. Because if I say go to 10, it skips everything in between. 1 through 9, it'll skip and just jump to there, so you won't see that movement again. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we click on the button, go to code snippets, click, go to frame and play. Well, it requires an instance name. What the instant name is, that way it ties the code to this button. All right, so
Okay.
this is going to be PB and underscore jar or just table. All right, so now we take the PB to the table. So now I'll click that again. Notice it didn't say anything. It gave me this. Now go to and play. Remember what I said about ActionScript versus JavaScript. In week 1.
Vaguely.
What number does JavaScript start on?
I don't remember. One of them starts on 0 and the other one starts on 1.
JavaScript starts at 0.
Okay.
Now, an easiest way to do this, I could say go to frame 1, which will be basically frame 2, and play. Or I take the number totally out, play. So watch. Now I click it, and it's not playing. It's supposed to play. Why didn't you play? Back timeline. Look at the actions. Click. There we go. I had to do a lowercase. Notice how an uppercase and a lowercase causes an issue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now just by saying play, it goes to the next frame. So what is next after the peanut butter? Now we get the bread. Okay, so what I'm going to do here now with the bread, right, so that's going to take the bread, the loaf, out to this point. Notice that's 10 frames, all right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to control, insert keyframe. So the bread basically stays there to that point, then it stops. Now we want to get the bread. So what I'm going to do is come to right here and insert a blank keyframe. The reason it's blank is because this is where, and actually, we don't even have to do that there. Let me just right click. We're going to remove that frame now. Now we come down here to the right and left bread. So right here, we're going to convert to keyframes. Now it stops at this point. All right. So what we're going to do is let's take these out of the way. Those are empty spots. And we're going to remove frames. So starting right here, notice it disappears, that loaf. So right here, we want to actually go one more. So we're going to insert a frame there. All right, so now the bread goes to there. Once I click it, it's going to go to that frame and play. Okay?
Okay.
So what I need to do, right here, notice there's no bread. All right, so right here, I'm going to do this with the right bread and the left bread at this point. Now do you see why I separated these out? Okay, so that's the right bread.
Gotcha.
So the right bread we're going to drop, and it's going to go from here. Let's see. Right there's the loaf. So the right bread's going to go to here. And the left bread is going to go here as well. So let's go out to 20. And convert to, let's see, just insert frames. All right, now we want to, oh, guess what I forgot to do first? Before the bread. Number 2 should be the plate.
Oh,
Now do you see why you break this out and how you're so used to doing it? I was used to doing it, and I just realized I'm placing the bread on the table without the plate. This is why they make you do this in leadership courses.
gotcha.
All right, so the plate. Now we're going to, right here, convert to keyframe. Then what?
Is that the motion tween?
Now we're going to go to here,
Right.
create a classic tween.
Classic tween.
That's all that we have available, which is fine. But now, unlock, move the plate to the table. It's going to be a really large plate. So in the process of moving it, what we're going to do, we're going to shrink it down just a little. That way everything has room on the table. All right, now, what you notice, the bread. Well, this should still be visible, right? So
Right.
what we're going to do, move those to right there.
Oh, what happened there?
Try that again. Well, I held the shift. Come on, that's not what you're supposed to do. We're going to move those like that. There we go.
There you go.
All right. But now,
Now
We
the table
need-
missing.
huh?
I was looking in that far right frame. The table's missing.
Oh, right here?
Yeah.
Yep. We'll put that in a minute.
Okay.
First, we need to stop. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so step one, what was the first thing we put out there? Whoops. This is what I meant to write.
First thing should have been the plate.
Peanut butter. Now the peanut butter, well, I need to move that over to here.
Okay.
Notice the stop. So we're going to remove this. So let's go back to the peanut butter. Here's where it stopped. So right here, all we're going to do is remove that frame. Insert frame. There we go. So now the peanut butter stops at the right spot.
Right. Should it shrink down as well?
Yeah, we'll probably do that here in a second.
Okay.
Now we're going to insert the frame after that. This will not have one, so it's going to remove the tween. There's no need for a tween in there, right?
Right.
And the peanut butter, we're going to go right back to here. Right to there. There we go. So right here. We're going to shrink it down. And you'll see that I goofed. Because, there we go. Actually, there we go. And there's the plates. Okay? So the peanut butter, the plate. Now, next, but to do that, now the plate, we need to tie it to the second button, right? Right here.
Right.
So we click on the plate, go over. Now we're going to insert a button. So the plate, but remember, we click on that, graphic, instant number, name, it's already got it, plate. Okay, so we go to the graphic. Well, the thing with the buttons, notice the buttons work all the way across. Okay. So now the second button, go back to here, to this frame. The second button, now we're going to code snippet. We need the instance name again. This is the plate. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing. Play. Now, what we're going to do, Command Enter. All right, so I click 1. Peanut butter. 2. Plate. Remember, I have to put a stop, right?
Right.
Okay. So, next, we need to stop at 20. So we're going to go straight to the actions. Notice there's no 20. So how do you do that? How would I click on frame 20? Well, this is how. Let's go back. We go to here and code snippets. And just stop at that frame. Now it's at 20. Okay?
Okay.
So now let's take a look what we have. First, the peanut butter. Second, the plate. You want to see something fun? It just went through and played the rest because the way I have it, each one will play starting its point. This is where the go to and play comes in, okay? So this play will just start it from wherever it's at, the next frame. Now go to and play, let's go back and do that now, okay? So what I'm going to do is we're going to go to here, frame 20, or frame 20. Go to our actions. So frame 20, we stop. Frame 10, stop. Frame 1. Right, notice the buttons are both up here, right? That's where they should be because they're all the way through from the beginning to the end. Now, what I'm going to do, I am going to remove this button. Okay? Now we're going to insert the other one. Frame and play. Well, it requires something on stage. Well, this is that one. Now, your selection must be converted to a movie clip in order to apply a code snippet. Animate will convert it for you. All right, now, go to and play. Remember, so if I've got it playing starting frame 10, frame 11, what do I put here?
11.
Remember, we're starting at 0.
So 12. No, 10.
But watch. Okay.
But that other thing's on 10.
Now we hear 10 stops it. So here's an exception, but look, I got it there because that doesn't say go to frame whatever. That just says the next frame and play.
Okay.
So now we're going to go back and change that to 11. Now watch. There's that. It's not playing. So let's go to 12. Nothing's happening at all. That button didn't work. Why that button's not working, I don't know. Let's take a look. Go to and play. 3, on click. Click that one, instance 2. All right, let's take a look. Frame 3. Nowhere did I tie it to instance 2. So we're going to remove this. Okay, now I'm going to click on that one. All right. Now we're going to add it. Go to, I should do it. And there we go. All right. And 2 goes to right there. Do you see how that happened? If I don't select the button, this is why, did you see the error where it says it has to convert it to an actual motion, it had to change it to a video? What happened was I made it so that when you clicked on the plate, it would go. It will do that if you click on the plate and then it goes totally just like that now, the plate does. Does that make sense? Make sure you click, have your button selected you're going to do. All right, so next. So we've got the peanut butter. Now we want the bread, right? We've got the peanut butter, we've got the plate. And the table, well, we're going to bring the table out here to 70. I'm not sure we're going to need that many, but we're going to bring it up to 70. All right, next. Well, we come to here. What I want to do, the plate now stays there, right? So 30, we're going to insert a frame there. And that does not need to be a tween because it just stays there. All right. Now we need the jelly. So the jelly up to this point convert to keyframe is right there. Now from there to here, insert frame, I want it to become a tween. So create a motion tween, go to the very end, jelly, going to go to right here. But how do I know the size I need for the jelly so it looks similar? Well, let's go back to the peanut butter. Notice the peanut butter is just there. So now we need to insert a frame there. Now the peanut butter. So that tells me now the size of the jelly.
Quick question.
Hmm.
Why is that one a motion tween and the others are plastic tweens?
It's all a matter of how I did these lines here. But you notice, it was classic, yeah. And that one went to it because it was a matter of the way I set the symbol up, actually.
Okay.
Okay, but look what happened. My jelly shrank. Because I did it inside. So let's go back to the scene. There we go. So we're on the scene now. From here to there. And then shrink down. All right, so now we have our jelly, right? This is what it looks like. 1, 2. Now if I click this, then the jelly comes over. All right, so now we do the bread. That's where the fun bread comes in. All right, so the loaf ends right here. Well, I want the loaf to actually end right here. Right there. So that means this here, do not come in till right there. All right, so what we're going to do is go right up here, insert a frame. Same here. Insert frame. All right, now, the bread, like I said, the loaf ends right here. Starting right here, this all becomes blank. The loaf is no longer needed there, right? Because as soon as I click on 30, ooh, that's 29. Let's insert one more. Insert a frame. There we. Now it goes to 30. As soon as I go to 31, it converts to those. But at 30, what do we need to insert? Code, remember? Stop. Because we have to stop at that frame. So here's what we have. 1, 2, 3. Nothing yet because I haven't programmed it. So if I click this, there's that. And the next, it just disappears. And that's where those 2 pieces of bread come in. All right, so let's get the bread done and then we'll stop for tonight. All right, now the loaf, now we go to the bread. So this convert to motion tween. All right, so now this one's the right piece of bread. Shoots over to here. Notice it's behind the plate. We'll fix that soon. But we're going to shrink it down just a little as well. Now, what I want to do though, properties, 91.364.4. So we're going to copy that one. And just remember the 91.3. All right, now, so now we come back to here. We're going to lock that one. That's going to come over to here. Now this is where 91.3, and there we go. All right, but like I said, notice they're behind. Whoops. Okay. Notice I forgot to create a motion tween. All right, so now we're going to do this again. All right, there we go. All right, so now what we need to do, how do I make those so they're visible? How do I make the bread visible? Do you know?
Move the layers to on top of the plate, or move the plate layer down.
Yep, we're taking them to right there.
Okay.
Now watch. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. I didn't program 3 yet. So there and there. So we're getting there. All right, actions. Go to the timeline. We need to stop at the 40, right?
Yeah.
So it's snippets, stop at this frame. Remember, this dot stop, open parenthesis, close semicolon, all right? That is ActionScript coding. That is JavaScript coding. HTML5 canvas JavaScript, okay? Now what we have is this. So 1, 2, still nothing there. So if I go next and next. See how I took the 2 pieces of bread out of the loaf?
Yep.
All right, and then back to the beginning. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to program number 3 really quick. But to do that, well, let's see. 31 is the frame, right? So let's go back to code 1. Click on 3. Actions. Code snippet. What frame do I need to go? Oh, it didn't give it an instant name. I'll let it give it to it this time. See, either way, that will work. I prefer to give it one because then you can keep track. Add event listener, this button, click to go to and play. Where we go up here, plate, button 2. So if I wanted to change that, I can, and this is bread, for instance. All right. Now I click on 3. See how it says button 2? Bread. That's how those are tied together. But what I didn't do yet is we haven't changed the coding where to go. Remember, what is the frame? 31? And here's what we have. 1, 2, 3, 2. See what happens if you go backwards? This one will continue to the next no matter what. This one will keep going and repeating that step because we made it go to that next step. Does that make sense? This is how you do a play and pause. It stops, play at the next frame, stops, play again, stop. See how that works? See the difference in those two buttons? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, with that, we're going to go ahead and end class tonight. And I'll pick up there tomorrow night, and we'll finish making the sandwich. I'll bring a couple things in. Also, I'm going to demonstrate a couple things. Now, the reason, take a look at this symbol versus this symbol. See how they're a little different? The text.
The stroke.
Uh-huh. Well, other than the stroke, the text. Notice how there's the text box?
Yeah.
Here, there isn't.
There isn't?
No, don't see it? You don't see this outline, do you?
Oh, now I do.
Yeah. Well, what happened was, let's go into it. There isn't one here either. And I didn't click on the outline. So but you come down here, there's the glow, but there's still no outline. The thing that happened, that is partially because of the way that those symbols were put together. The difference between this one and this one needing the traditional versus the regular tween. Does that answer the question now?
I think so, yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for tonight. And I'll see you tomorrow night. And I look forward to seeing you here in class.
3 o'clock, right?
3 o'clock tomorrow, yes.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Have a nice evening.
All right, you too.
Bye.
Bye.